recap of what we have discussed in the first and second sessions. So in the first session, I focused more on like what exactly is ERP, the basics of SAP, and how it got evolved, and what are the different versions that we have in SAP, and the full form of SAP. So these are the things that we have discussed in the first session. And then we have BAP, business advanced business application programming language, ABAP. In ABAP, how the ABAP was evolved. So first we had IBM mainframes. SAP started to build all their applications in 1972 in IBM mainframes, but they slowly IBM mainframes but they slowly moved on and developed their own application called BAP, Business Application Programming Language. And ABAP happens to be Advanced Business Application Programming Language. So now we have this Business Application Programming Language, and then we have Advanced Business Application Programming Language. So in Advanced Business Application Programming Language, we have first one is we actually need to understand what will be our roles and responsibilities. Okay, and abilities. What are the abilities of a technical developer? So these things we are going to discuss here. Roles and responsibilities. Abilities of a technical developer is what we'll discuss. So in this business application programming language was old, and then we have the advanced business application programming, and the 4 stands for fourth generation. 4 stands for fourth generation. Now, if someone has missed understanding this ERP and SAP concept, I'd send you the link, and also I can also discuss that in some other session. But our focus right now is on ABAP, Advanced Business Application Programming Language. So SAP happens to be a synonym for ERP technology. ERP is actually a concept. As we discussed in the first session, ERP is a concept. So just like car is a concept, ERP is a concept. I've just write this one line, because if you have missed that: concept, company, and version. So concept, ERP is a concept, SAP is a company, and ECC is a version. Just like car is a concept, BMW is a company, and X1 is the version. This is what we have. Now, so just like car is a concept, ERP is a concept. Just like BMW is a company, SAP is a company. Just like X1 is a company, ECC is also. X1 is a version of the car, ECC is a software version. Now, in most of the cases, SAP means ERP, ERP means SAP is what people recognize it so well, because SAP is there in the ERP field from past 49 years, and it's global leader in SAP, global leader in ERP technologies. Okay, so I actually gave you the simple example that if I have a budget of 10,000 rupees for a phone, and I'll ask 100 people, what would be your suggestion? 100 people will give me 100 different suggestions. Someone will say go for Redmi. Someone will suggest me to go for Samsung. Someone will suggest me to go for MI or whatever. And if I ask them about the iPhone, they will tell iPhone has a lot of drawbacks. This is the drawback, that is a drawback. We should not buy iPhone because of these reasons and all. But if I ask all the 100 people, if my budget is 1 lakh, and then I ask the same people which phone I should buy, 90% of them will say iPhone. Because if the budget is high, then the only best phone that we can rely upon is iPhone. Okay, so similarly, if all the top companies, all top companies in the world, and not topmost companies in the world, if they want to run their business fast in an efficient way, the only ERP that they can trust is SAP. And SAP has become a monopoly in the topmost companies. They have actually created that scenario. And if some strong competitors come into picture, they actually purchase that companies and then they merge them into their company. Again, they try to become a monopoly. So SAP is a very strong player on the topmost companies. For topmost companies, SAP is a very strong player for this ERP technologies. Now, in this, where does ABAP come into picture? I'm going to come to that, but I will tell you that SAP has become so popular in ERP, just like we have, say, photocopying. Does any one of you uh, know what is photocopying? If you go to a shop and ask them, you can ping me if you can ping me in the chat box actually. So if you go to a particular shop and ask him, do you have a photocopy? He'll say no. Okay, but if you ask him, do you have Xerox? Okay, do you have Xerox? Yes, he says yes, I have Xerox. So he'll give you a Xerox. But the concept that you're doing here is photocopying. Photocopying is a concept. Xerox is a company who manufactures these photocopying machines. Okay, so Xerox has become more familiar to the people than the photocopying concept. The concept is called photocopying. Okay, but everyone knows about photocopying with Xerox. Similarly, everybody knows about ERP concept for SAP. I mean, like SAP is equal to ERP is equal to SAP is what people used to know at least for the first 18 years. Okay, at the beginning of the 18 years, there was no competitor for SAP. It was a monopoly. It was a monopoly for 18 years. Okay, so it was a monopoly for first 18 years, and then other competitors have come into the market, and they actually took over and all. But SAP always was in the past 49 years in ERP sector. SAP was always number one. Just like Apple is maintaining its own strategy of being number one in the mobile phone, similarly, and Google happens to be the number one in search engines. So in this way, they try to become a monopoly. If somebody is moving fast ahead of them in that same field, they'll try to take over. Just like Facebook took over WhatsApp, Facebook took over Instagram. Similarly, SAP also took over more than 600 companies, and they are monopoly in the world. So almost topmost companies in the world who have hundreds and thousands of crores of turnover. So for such companies, for topmost companies in the world, we always have this, SAP is the first priority because it's a proven technology with a global approval. Of course, it has got some few here and there few drawbacks, but having said that, this is the only technology on the topmost top-notch websites or top-notch companies. Okay, so if let's say you take any top company in the world, I'm always talking about BMW, right? Let's say Rand Baxi or Nestle or Coca-Cola or Reynolds Pens or ICICI Bank, HSBC Bank, and they say like so any topmost company in any sector in the world is already using SAP from a very long time, and they always upgrade to the latest version whenever it is required. So the reason for that is they have got such ability to manage the topmost companies in the world. Okay, so for that they always have this SAP in their company. So why are we discussing all these things is because SAP has got a lot of future, and there's no way it is going to die at least for next 20 years because there is no alternative for SAP. Okay, if I ask you about the alternative for Google, you will start thinking about it. Okay, So what is the alternative for Google? Okay, maybe it is a message search, but not that quick. So what is the alternate for Windows operating system? Not that popular. But here, but in the case of when it comes to Facebook, also it actually created like a monopoly. So similarly, SAP is the monopoly, and almost every top company works on SAP technology. So here, ABAP is the only coding language for them for the main concepts to be developed. For web related technologies, we have UI5 Fiori, which has been latest one, which has been launched, and we also have the Fiori. Fiori is actually again a subdivision of UI5. So these things these things are only on the front end, but the core developments of SAP are always on ABAP. So let's see what are the different topics that we have in ABAP, and how do we actually go with it. In the past previous class, I already discussed about what are the different topics that we have in ABAP and how are we going to know it. Okay, so we'll understand each and every topic based with the examples and projects. Okay, we have data dictionary. This is the first one, data dictionary. Those who have attended the previous records can previous classes can actually ping me in the chat box if you know the answer. What was the second topic? If you can recollect that, you can ping me in the chat box. Okay, fine. Reports, exactly. Right, Govind. Reports. We have the reporting. So reporting happens to be a part of the programming. In programming, actually, it can be like this. In programming, we'll have reports, and the second one happens to be module programming or screen programming or dialog programming. Screen programming is same as dialog programming, as same as DynPro, dynamic. So these are all the different concepts that we have for the same programming concept. Now, what is the significance of this concept? I'll quickly complete that and then move on to the next topic. See, basically, data dictionary comprises of lot of objects in which data dictionary database tables happens to be the primary object. Database tables are where we are going to store all our data permanently. All the business data will be stored in database tables. Then we have a lot of other objects also. Reporting is only for displaying of data. Data dictionary is only for displaying the data, not for modifying or editing of data. But screen programming, dialog programming, DynPro, dynamic programming, these are all the module pool programming. These are all names of a same concept, module pool. So these are all the different names for the same concept. In this kind of a project, in this kind of concept, we will be able to modify the data in the backend. Reporting also we can modify the data, but it is not meant for that. Reports are meant for displaying the data, not for modifying the data. So just like in your school days, you had a report card. So report, what you are not supposed to change the marks. You are supposed to just show the same thing to your parents and then bring it back. So report is itself means that it's just for display, only for display. But those two are come under the programming only. Then we have forms. Forms, we are going to design like invoice, bill, or anything which we have to print it in the form of a page can be taken in the forms. Forms. Then we have something called OOPS concept, object-oriented programming. So object-oriented programming is a different technique to do the programming. And then we have this conversions. Then we have enhancements. Cross applications. And workflow. Workflow is actually considered as a different, complete different concept altogether. And we have HANA ABAP. HANA ABAP again happens to be latest module. These are the different things that we do. Now, out of all this, the most important concepts happens to be, so everything happens to be important, but in the requirements they will give you something like RICEF, RICEF. RICEF in a sense, reports, interfaces, cross applications, enhancements, and forms. Sometimes they also call it as RICEF-W. Reports, interfaces, cross applications, enhancements, forms, and workflow. Now, in each and every concept of this, we're going to do a lot of projects. Okay, let me show you some projects. Example of a project. So, report program to update employee data and display in output. Creation of DB table without domain and data. So, in this way, we have a couple of projects that we are going to do here. We can do somewhere around 38, so around 40 projects, which you can relate it to real-time projects. So in real-time projects, you will have more complex kind of scenarios. We're going to do more of simple kind of programs. Now, if you go to syllabus wise, if we check that in the syllabus wise, we'll have something like this: ERP fundamentals. What are the different topics that we have in ABAP? Then we have these are all concepts. So when we see this, the first project will start in the seventh day. The first project will start. Means what? We are actually discussing about some of the basics at the beginning, and then we will go to the projects. So we don't directly jump into the project. So and even if I have to do a project, I need to explain a lot of things in the before, what is happening, why it is there, and concepts. Without understanding the concept, we cannot understand the project. So we need to understand the concept, and then we will need to go into the project. Okay. So now we have created a simple program, I guess. In the last session, not sure if I have created a program. Did I create a program? Industry and Govind. Okay, so great. Now we need to remember here that in SAP, 90% of the developments is already done. It's a ready-made software, just like a smartphone. Your smartphone. Your smartphone, when you purchase, it was 90% ready. 90% ready. Smartphone was 90% ready for you to use. Then 10% is what? Okay, 90% was ready, and 10% is what we need to configure or customize, something like configure and customize. Configure and customize the phone. So this configuration and customizing of the phone, it will take some time. Now, Similarly, here, if let's say we have SAP software, SAP software is 90% ready for a client to use. Client in the sense like BMW, 90% ready for BMW. But remaining 10%, IBM has to do the configuration. So when BMW purchases this software, ready-made software, it is 90% ready, but 10% customization configuration should be done by a functional consultant or from the software company. Now this is what we have, and there are some developments that we need to make. Okay, I'll give you a simple example. SAP software, let's say BMW has purchased the SAP software in 2018. Okay, they implemented it, it's running right now, it's running fine. But in 2021, when they started the production, the first thing that BMW wants is the COVID status. So they would like to prepare an application in SAP software itself that which employee has what COVID status. Okay, so which employee has what COVID status? For example, like say an employee is there, and he there is a form which needs to be filled online, in which they need to update, did they actually anytime affect with the COVID? Is it for wave 1 or wave 2, and how many days it took for them to cure, and what exactly is their present weight, if they have any disease background, so do they have any diseases which they are suffering with. So these all things needs to be updated in the application. Do you think there is an predefined application in SAP on COVID test? Definitely no, because in 2008 no one knew about the COVID. So in 2021 it has become mandatory for them. So this application have to be built by us, as by ABAPers, who needs to build the application, and later people will work on it and enter the data and all, right? So this is what we have, lot of things like this which we need to do. Now any programs which starts from A to X alphabets, if the starting letter is from A to X, it is an SAP standard ones. Please take it for granted. But only if they are starting with Y or Z, then it can be called as customized. Customized in the sense it is done by users, developers like us. Okay, if it is coming in the SAP standard software, they start with A to X. But if you are creating something, it will start with Y to Z. So if you have to create a program or any object in ABAP, global objects in ABAP, any global objects in ABAP, it needs to start with global objects in ABAP. It needs to start with Y or Z. Otherwise, you will not be able to create it. Okay, that's the reason the first program which we created also was started with Z. First program also started with Z. Now, to be more precise, Z in the projects, we use Z for actual developments and Y for testing. So testing developments we'll do it in Y. Okay, so actual developments we'll do it with Z, and testing developments we'll do it with Y. This is what. Now, we actually created a program, a Z program, the first program. So if you have to create a program, how do we have to do it is what I have to explain the steps, and I'll quickly do that now. And I would like to tell you about data types. Today we are going to discuss about data types as well. So these are all the things that we already have created in detail in the previous topics. I'm just quickly recapping that. And here we have first program, creation of first program. So for creation of first program, the first one is like we need to, these are the steps, login into SAP system. Second one is give username and password. Then we have, after giving username and password, you will enter the easy access screen. Easy access screen. And from there you have to type, enter transaction code SE38. And in SE38 you have to give a program name. Program name start with Z or Y. So I'll give it as ZBA underscore program test, or say P708. So it means that BA for Vikramaditya and P for program. 0708 is today's date. So I'm just normally creating the program. Then you need to click on create button. Create, or you need to go for F5 function key. And then after this, you need to give the title. In the next screen, you need to give the title. Title you can give say my first program. And then type, you need to select it from the drop down, which happens to be executable program. Then you need to, in the next pop-up, you need to click on local object. So this local object happens to be a button. Okay? Why we are doing this and all these things we'll discuss in the more in detail in the next time. Now you enter the ABAP editor screen. Okay, now you will enter the ABAP editor screen, and from here in the ABAP editor screen, I'll just simply write say my first program, or you can also write welcome to SAP. Now you need to give a full stop here, otherwise it throws an error. Now you need to save it. For saving, it's Control plus S. For syntax check, it's Control plus F2. For activation, Control plus F3, and then execute F8 and back F3. So these are all the things that we have. So these are the steps to create a first program, which I'll be doing it on the system now. So normally the process will be like this. First, we'll discuss about any topic on the Word document. Then I will show you the presentations, PPTs or whatever it might be. And then I'll do the scenario in the real time in the system. So let's do that in the system now. I'm skipping that presentation concept here because this is a very simple first program. So I'm logging into the SAP system. So how do I log in? I'll just double click. I'll just start it from the beginning. So here we'll go for SE38. Then I'm going for ZVA underscore P0708, which happens to be today's date. And I'm going to click on create. Okay, I'm doing the same thing which I wrote in the Word document. So I have entered a transaction code called SE38. At this point of time, transaction code, you can think of a transaction code is just like a website address. It's just like a website address. So we do that, and then we go ahead with this and click on create. So I'm writing any title. You can give any title. Title is not an issue. And the type, you need to give the executable program. You need to give the executable program and click on save. And then in the second pop-up, you need to click on local object. This is what I said in the Word document. In the first pop-up, you have to write some title, and then you have to give the type as executable program. The next pop-up, you have to click on the local object. Here we'll go for write. Welcome to SAP. Click on save, syntax check, activate, execute. This is what we have. Welcome to SAP. Okay, so I just saved it, did the syntax check, activate. So these are the icons, but I can also use a shortcut as well. So if you can keep if you keep the cursor on that icon, you'll also see the shortcut Control plus F2, Control plus F3, and this is F8. You can also use either way, that way or this way. Both ways it works. Now you got this. Now this happens to be the first program, which I'll also make you do this program from your end. I think in the last session, Indu and Govind, you have done it, right? Not sure. Did I give you the access and make you do this? Now we are discussing about the data types. Okay, data types. So data types happens to be the way we are going to actually design or define some fields. So if you have something like employee number, we need to give the length. If you want to define this, you need to give the length and data type. You need the length and data type. So if you give the length and data type, after giving the length and data type only, you will give this, for this employee number will have actual meaning. If this is a variable, if you want to define a variable, you need to assign length and data type. You need to assign the length and data type. So employee number is a variable which we are defining here, and we need to define the length and data type. So there are various data types that we have here. Say character. Let's say character. So I want to define a particular field called A as character. So I can just say A type C. Data A type C. Data A type C. Now what happens? C happens to be character. C happens to be character. Now we are going to define any field or variable with two things, length and data type. But if you observe here, I didn't give any length. So if I don't give the length for this A, default length will be 1. So if I say A is equals to and say write A, then A will actually type only V. It will not type everything. Complete name will not be printed. Only V will be printed. Why is it so? Because A is of type C and we didn't give the length. So default length will be 1. But if you want to type everything, then you have to count the length and you have to give it. So I'll give the length as approximately as somewhere around 15. Now the entire value will be printed here. The entire value will be printed. Let's see that now. Now here we have this ZV underscore data underscore type 08. Now here I'll write something like data. Data is a keyword. It's a syntax of the system. Data A type C. As I was telling you, when I say A is equals to Vikramaditya is what I have signed. Now when I say write A, okay, then only V will be printed. And remember, SAP coding is not case sensitive. Not case sensitive in the sense I can write lowercase or uppercase. See, here and here I used lowercase, but here I'm using uppercase. It works. You will not have any issue. Save, syntax check, activate, execute. Here we have V. Okay. Type C happens to be character. Now, when I say a field is of type C, it becomes a character. Okay, now let us understand what are the different dates that we can make use of in the system and how do we actually define and how do we actually assign the values. Let us go and see this. So these are system defined elementary data types. System defined elementary data types. Let us understand the data types. So in data types, what are data types? Which can give properties to a field. Okay. And what are the different types of data types we have? System defined data types and user defined data types. In system defined, again, we'll have elementary data types and structured data types. In user defined also, we'll have elementary data types and structured data types. But right now, what we have written C comes under system defined elementary data types. It comes in the system defined elementary data types. Let's see what are the different things that we have. In system defined elementary data types, we have character, numeric text, integer, tagged, float, date, time, hexadecimal. So these are the system defined elementary data types. Okay, so these are the system defined elementary data types. And in system defined elementary data types, we have used character. So if you have to define a field as character, you need to give it as type C. That's it. You don't have to write complete character. If you write type C, it becomes a character. And if you write type N, it becomes a numeric. And if you write type I, it becomes a integer. So this is what we actually can do. So what we'll do is right now we'll understand each one of these data types and then come back to the slide and once again discuss that. Okay, so we can define all these data types, and we are going to define all these data types for one particular field. Each one of them will design it for a one particular field, and then we will assign the values. Okay, so we'll go ahead from here and I'll share this. I'll keep this slide open for 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. Then you can, if you want to make a copy of it or something, you can remember that. Just go through that and remember that. Anyways, I'm going to share this slide also with you later. Not an issue, but these are the data types, elementary system defined data types that we have. But I personally suggest everyone, if you really want to get the best out of the coding and whatever subject you are learning, it's always good to write it in a book, because that's my best practice. It will actually clear very the most complex scenarios can be easily understood by writing it down. Okay, so your written notes is works like a capsule for any of the conditions. Fine. So then we'll move ahead from here. So this is how we can define the Sai. Now you are clear with what is C. So now we have A of 5 type C. So here C happens to be the data type and 5 happens to be the length. As we have seen in the output, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you in the output that if I don't give the length, default it will take only one length, and it will type only the first character. Let's go back to the program and see that. In the program, if I say write C, write A, so we have only V written here. But if you give the length as 15 here, execute. So we have Vikramaditya, entire value will be typed. Okay, A of 5 type C. Sai, it's not case sensitive. The entire language is not case sensitive, but only few commands will be case sensitive, which I will come later. I will highlight them. But in general, the entire programming is not case sensitive. Now, what do I mean by case sensitive is that A is written in small case, small letter, it is fine. If you write it in capital letters also, it's fine. Okay, both the ways it accepts it, which it will accept it. Okay, so now Vikramaditya entire name will be typed because we have increased the length here. Now there is another way of assigning the value. So let's say I can write move India to A. So when I say move India to A, what will happen? India value will be moved to A. So this is another way of writing A is equals to Vikramaditya. You can say move Vikramaditya to A. Now that I have written move India to A, then the old value will be gone. This old value will be gone, and A will have the new value. Vikramaditya will now be replaced with India. So let's see the output now. So India is typed, not Vikramaditya, because we are assigning the latest value as India. This is what we have. So this is another way of doing it. Now here we can write data, some B of 10. Here also we need to give the length, type N. Now when I say type N, it can add only numbers. Only numbers. But when it comes to this move India to A, okay, in this deck, so move India. India, I can write India 1. So I can also accommodate 1, 2, 3. I can accommodate numbers as well in character. So character is alphanumeric in SAP. Character is alphanumeric. Now what do I mean by alphanumeric? Alpha means alphabets and numeric means numbers. So it can accommodate both the things, and it can also accommodate symbols as well. So I have something like any symbol, @ symbol. Okay, so here we have, can accommodate that. Now when I execute it, it will show all the things because character can accommodate all the things. But when it comes to numeric, it's not like that. B is equals to, say, 1, 2, 3. Okay, more number of names. See, if we want to maintain more number of names, let's say in this question is that I have A is equals to Vikramaditya, but she wants to maintain multiple names like Vikramaditya, then we have Shiva, then Ganesh, then Yashwant. Some names have to be defined. Then we have to go for structured data type. So under one field, if you want to maintain multiple fee values, we have to go for structured data, which we're going to discuss later after this concept. Okay, maybe like so there are some drawbacks in elementary data types. If you observe in elementary data types where we have defined A as a variable, you are able to store only one value. But when you go for structured data type, under one field, we can maintain multiple values, and that will come to that. Okay, so that's the answer to English. And here, if B is defined as numeric, it can have only numbers. I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then say write B. That B will be typed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if I say here /B, then it will type in the next line. So this is a symbol to get the value in the next line. If you want to get it in next line, /B. So you'll get this value in the next line. This is what. Yes, we can remove that preceding zeros. So we have, why are we getting the preceding zeros is what we need to understand. See, in numeric value, if you observe, if we define it as a numeric value, according to the length, it will fill the zeros. Since the length, if you see the fifth line code, we have given B length as 10. So, and here we get only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will precede it with zeros. So, but if it is a character, it will not be like that. So let me write A is equals to 7891234. 1, 2, 3. Now in this case, 7891233, if you write it like this, A value will be type. If you have 15 length also, the preceding zeros will not come in character. And here for numeric, preceding zeros are coming. Preceding zeros will come by default. Now Govind's question is, he doesn't want that preceding zeros. Okay. It's not whether you want to define it as a character or numeric. He wants to define as a numeric only, but he doesn't want it preceding zeros. You understand the question? So now what we have to do? Okay. So that's the question. Okay. Question is, Govind does not want this leading zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. You want to remove it, but he don't want to change the type to character. He wants to keep it as numeric only. Simple. No zero. Just write no zero. So if you write no zero, it will, the zeros will be removed. But numeric is always right aligned. This is right aligned. But character is left aligned. Okay, left aligned. Now let's say you have number as 15. Okay, I'll give it as 15, right? So here for numeric also I'll give something like, I'll give it as 20. Here also I'll give it as 20. Now the number is this. A is India 123 at the rate, and B is 123456. Okay. Now here A will start. The value of A is starting from the left corner, and the value of numeric is starting from the right corner. Okay. That's the difference here. And then what we have is, this is about the left aligned and right aligned. And then we can also do one thing. See, if you have a number like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and you have the length as only 5. Now if you have the length as 5, it will start from here and it will take only 5 characters from right side. 1 2 3 4 5. Right aligned. Numeric is right aligned. Means 5 6 7 8 9 will be printed now. But if I make this as 5 and I'm commenting this one, and I'm going for A is equals to Vikramaditya, then left side 5 will be printed. VIKRA, Vikra will be printed. Okay, because it's left aligned, and numeric is right aligned. Let's go for that now. Let's see the output. Now here we have Vikra will be printed, and here 5 6 7 8 is printed. Means left aligned and right aligned. That's what I want to highlight. Okay, now you can write A is equals to Vikramaditya or move Vikramaditya to A. Both means the same. Both means the same. Okay. Now this is about the numeric and character. But what is integer? Integer is type positive. It can accommodate positive or negative numbers. So when I say data, some k type I. Move is a keyword. Going move is a keyword. What are the rules to write, coding, and nomenclature? What are the sign conventions? What are the rules for writing the coding and nomenclature? So slowly, any standard way to write code? Yeah, standard way to write code is, you have to first define values, then assign the values, and then output comments. This is the definition. Okay, there is a there's a standard nomenclature. Like, we have the first declaration part, then we assign the values here, then we write the values. This is the standard process which we follow. Assign the values.
Sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Actually, I don't know about the coding and how we have to perform this and how to write.
Okay.
So, is there any standard? Just like we have a 26 alphabets. okay, from A to Z to write the English language, right? So, like that, is there any standard basic material we have with the help of we can build the coding? Okay, you understand my point, no?
Okay, see, for each one, there is a standard one. So, for example, for creation of a program, what I was telling before this is a standard process. For any program, if you want to create, this is the standard process. So, there are some standard processes and standard procedure we have to follow for every program. So, if you have to create a program, these are all the steps which we have to follow. In this way, we have lot of standard procedures for a lot of things to do in the SAP system.
No, I am not asking about the process. Means I am just asking the standard of writing the code. That is the
Standard of writing the code in the sense it depends on the purpose of the program. So based on the purpose of the program, we'll have the standards. So if you can just tell me what is the purpose of the program, then I will tell you what is the standard procedure to write it. Because in program we can do a lot of things.
No, what I observe in the SAP screen, some the words open the SAP screen.
Okay, so
Hello. Hello. Hello.
hello, am I audible now? Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So so
Not
and
audible.
am I not audible? Hello.
No, nothing. Now audible. Hello.
Okay. 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 Fine. Yeah. So what I'll do is like see nomenclature. If you can just let me know, I mean, like, maybe I'm not getting your question exactly, but maybe we can discuss that again in the coming session. I mean, you can ask this question, and I'll be able to ask. So once like you can either use Hindi or Telugu, and you can explain me that, and then maybe I'll be able to again understand that and tell you that. But at this point of time, I just was discussing about the data types, and we have a lot of data types that we have to discuss, and we are going to write all the data types like this, and we will understand how they'll be working. And as I was telling you, we have integer, date, time, hexadecimal, date, and all these data types we are going to discuss, and we are going to do those things in the next coming session. Okay, and the coming session most probably will be on Monday, I guess. Okay, so I'll be discussing about all these topics. So and now the one who asked question right now, who's hello?
Hi.
So who
Hello.
was this who asked this question?
This is Prashant.
Okay, Prashant.
Lenovo.
I'll
Hello.
yeah,
Your
Prashant.
name?
Yes, Prashant.